Welcome to Creatives in Quarantine. I'm Tiwana Floyd, your host. This week, I speak with my Bronx, New York sister, Tomiko Fraser Hines. We talk about her journey to becoming Maybelline's first African-American model, starting the Goddess Gathering, a long-running women's empowerment group, and creativity being her medicine.
Okay, I remember, this is before I moved here.
Okay.
Me and Dave, shout out to Dave Stovall.
Dave, hi Dave.
You went to high school with.
Yes.
And we were at a bar in the Flatiron District. There was a bunch of us. And he was like, you got to meet my friend Tomiko. Those girls, and I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it was like they were empowered or whatever.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And it just never happened. Never brought it up again. Then when I was going to move here, he said, you got to get in touch with Tomiko when you get there. She's starting, at the time you were starting, I think it was a mentoring something for, I don't know if it was boys or girls.
Listen.
I know.
I've been at this for a minute.
Yeah, and that was 15 years ago. But whatever it was, I'd gotten your information and emailed you. And I was like, oh, I always wanted to mentor little girls, but whatever the case was. And then you reached out to me, you responded. And then like, well, I do this Goddess Gathering and you should come. And I don't remember you telling me that. I remembered it after the fact, like it went in one ear and out the other.
Yes.
I probably was afraid of it. And then when I was going to quit my job and go from full-time to part-time to pursue acting, which is what I came out here for, I said, well, let me call Tomiko. She's been modeling in my head all her life. So let me call her. And then he was like, well, like I told you before, I'm doing this Goddess Gathering and this is the weekend. And then I remembered and then I came and then
here we are. Listen, I'm so glad that you remember all the details because when I saw that was one of your questions, I was like, now she knows that I have a bad memory. So I remember some key points. You know, Dave was very instrumental, obviously, the liaison between the two of us.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll just use this lightly, stalking whatever social media page was out at that time. Maybe it was MySpace, but I feel like it was Facebook. I don't know what it was, but I remember your profile picture because you had on a hat and
sure.
Yes, it was MySpace. Okay, because I was like, oh, she's from the Bronx and she's cool and I love hats and Dave says she's cool. And so I just remember you. I was like, oh, and have since like fallen in love with you and all your creativity and your expression and your dance and just everything about you. So yeah, that's how we met. It was definitely through Dave. And I mean, he saying as much as he was saying to you, you got to connect with her. He was saying it to me as well. So Dave, did you say his full name? Dave Stovall.
And we both know that Dave Stovall, he's very particular.
Yes.
So for him to refer people, then all right, because he don't even mess with a lot of people himself. So
he's a big brother. He graduated from high school a year before I did, and we remained friends. And I graduated in 1986, so we've been friends even before that. So yay for Dave.
Yeah, you're 86, so he's 87, and I'm 88, although I didn't go to
No, he's a year older than me.
Oh, that's right. He sure is.
85.
85. That's right. I'm thinking about all the other friends.
Wait, what year did you graduate high school?
88.
Wait a minute. Tiwana, is this your 50th birthday year?
50th year.
I missed your 50th birthday.
Well, it's not like we're in a pandemic, so I didn't really talk about it.
I know. Well, listen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Tiwana. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha. Cha-cha. Hi-ya. This is all I got. I mean,
I take it.
50. Okay. Welcome to the club.
Love it. Let's talk about that for a second because when I first moved here, you were on the verge of turning 40. And you were touting it, had the horn, had the confetti ready to go. And as an actress who's told you can't, blah, 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 I was like, oh, okay. So that helped me to start to be like, yeah, what are we doing? Besides, we look great anyway, so let's just embrace this age.
Embrace it.
Yeah. And
so, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Because I was going to jump into why I'm so vociferous about my age. And it happened around the age of 40 because like you said, we're both in entertainment. I've been modeling, feels like my whole life. I've been modeling professionally since I was 25. and was told from the jump, you have to lie. Like, you have to say that you're younger. And, you know, I started modeling late in the game. Most models get started in their teens. I was already a grown woman with a job and a pension and all kinds of stuff at 25. So I played along because I wanted to work. And I recall always being on set and, you know, not being considered as having an opinion because I was supposed to be younger, or being concerned about speaking up for something that I wanted to say because I was supposed to be younger. And that carried on for many, many years until I started doing the work that I know we're going to start to talk about, my women's empowerment work. And I remember being at a gathering that we held for young girls, little Black girls, little Hispanic girls. And by that time I had been modeling for, 15 years. And this little girl, very innocently, when we were doing an introduction to getting to know each other, she said, "Miss Tomiko, how old are you?" And I was about to tell an untruth to this little girl. And I stopped myself dead in my tracks. And I said, "You know what? Thank you so much for this opportunity for growth for me, because here I am with all my friends and we being all goddessy and telling you guys to embrace who you are and love who you are. I'm about to tell you a lie about my age, and I'm not going to do that." So I said, "I am 40 years old." They all started gasping, and I was like, "Okay, y'all, all right." But you know, I thanked her because I said, I own my age. I embrace my age. I've earned these years, and I'm not going to play along with the societal lie that as we get older, especially as women of color, we devalue. I feel like I'm getting more value as I grow older. So I say my age just about every other day in a social media post that I am 52, because I'm very, very proud of it.
That's right.
So yes.
And as girls from the Bronx or any person from an inner city,
yes,
52 really is a badge of honor. So.
Listen, it's the truth. And I mean, you know, yes, you said it at the beginning of this question about how we look good, right? I embrace that. I take good care of myself. You know, we're doing our 50s differently than our parents, our grandparents, and nothing against what they did. They did the best they could, but each generation attempts to do it a little better, or, you know, a little differently than the previous generation. So yeah, 52. I'm all about it.
Right.
And, you bring out the Bronx in me. Every time I talk to you, I start like using lingo.
Anytime I'm around somebody from New York, I get that same. But we got to first talk about
yes,
as a model, because I always found models to be fascinating. Because on one hand, people are like, "Oh, models are dumb, blah blah, whatever that's." Thought is, but I find models fascinating because there is a craft to it, and it's not easy. And to sustain this career for so many years, to just like you were talking about how you are treated as a model as somebody with no opinion. So how to be able to sustain all these years? But tell me how you even got started, especially since you didn't start at 16.
Yeah. Well, thank you for, first of all, acknowledging the artistry that is modeling. I take my craft very seriously. And I mean, I have fun with it, and it's given me great opportunities over the years, but it is my job. I am my craft. So thank you for acknowledging that. Yeah, I got started late because I am a Taurus. I am from New York, and as I've been this height since I was in the 6th grade. I have been 5'9.5" since I was in the 6th grade. It was not cute back then.
Always in the back row. Always in the back.
Listen, I was the second tallest girl. I know that Nishaleen Hyatt was the girl taller than me, and she's still tall. Well, obviously she's still tall. But I just wanted to get a job with benefits and like be real practical. You know, after high school, I dabbled a little bit in college with some distance learning in college, but it just wasn't calling me in that way. I wanted to get out, make some money, move out of home, and just get started on my adult life. But ever since I was a teenager, people would stop my mom or stop me and say, you should model. I'm like, I'm not, you know, all I heard was all the bad stuff.
Right.
But as I grew older and became more, you know, wanting to enjoy life, wanting to try things, wanting to explore and see what it was all about, it was at the age of 25 that I quit my full-time job as an investment banking administrative assistant and started working at this restaurant, which I know you know of in New York, called Lola on 22nd Street.
I didn't know you worked at Lola's. No.
Did you not? Oh, wow, I thought you knew that. That's like, so yeah, I was working there as a hostess, and then and ultimately as one of the managers there. Worked there for many years. And then a woman came in who was a regular there, and she had this small agency, and she said, you know what, I would love to represent you. And I'm like, lady, I'm working, you know. But again, when you are called to something and it feels right, you can't deny it. So I started working with her, stayed with her for about a year, and then that's when the big dogs started calling, and the bigger agencies were out there looking for me because I started to make a name for myself. And I started out with Wilhelmina, and went from Wilhelmina to Ford. And I mean, my career has just been amazing. I know that was a long answer, but it continues to this day, 27 years plus, because 25 is when I started doing it professionally, but I had been doing it for several years prior to that. So I'm about 30 years in the business. Yeah. And took some breaks here and there to have some babies. But I said, when I was off raising the boys and staying home as a stay-at-home mom, that if I went back to modeling, it would have to be as my complete self. My age, my hair, my conditions, meaning, you know, when I want to work, how I want to work, because I was a mom by then. Yeah. And don't you know that happened? I literally got to go back to work with my natural hair, saying my age, working for a client, Chico's, that is all about women that are seasoned, and had them as a steady client. And I'm like, well, look, let me call on some other things then, if I can just make it, you know, speak it, and then it comes into existence that way. I had some iced tea before this call, so I'm a little hyper. It's all good.
You're fine. You're fine. But you and so you told me the story, but you kind of, I won't say you skipped over it, but you didn't mention it.
Tell me.
I'm really fascinated and very interested.
Yes.
In the time that you became the first model, the first African-American model.
How did I skip that?
Impact. How did that come to be, and how did that change your career, if it did?
Wow. Well, yes, that's a huge, huge thing, and definitely not meant to skip over, because that is one of the highlights of my career, is that I was the first Black woman to be signed to an exclusive contract with Maybelline Cosmetics. They had never had, they had women work with them as models for hire for the day, but to receive a contract, I like to say this, it's like winning the Super Bowl. Like, all models, that's what you aspire to. You want to have a cosmetic campaign because there's high visibility there, there's longevity there, there's obviously money there. And they were courting me. Different cosmetic companies were courting me. I won't say the other names of the other ones, but Maybelline came with the best deal, and I was honored to take that on. To this day, and this happened in the early 2000s, so we're talking 20 years ago when I got this contract. Women, you were on my wall as a teenager. I saw you in magazines, and that made me feel beautiful. And I remember, because I do Throwback Thursdays, and I bring out all the Maybelline stuff, and they're like, I remember that ad and that ad. And the impact was just, it's stuck. I get goosebumps to this day, like just knowing that I played a part in Black women, Black young girls, embracing their beauty, seeing themselves represented, knowing that they are viable and bankable and artistic and beautiful. And even at the point in my career where I stopped wearing my weaves and I did some of my ads with my natural hair, like it just kept going and going. So it played a huge part, and still plays a huge part, in my pride and my joy as a Black woman and as a model. Did I answer the question?
It does answer the question. Yeah, because I remember, seeing, and I think this is before, Dave mentioned you to me, but I remember seeing, the ads and thinking, wow, this Black woman, beautiful smile. And most times you were natural at that point. And when he introduced, and he's like, oh, I want you to meet my friend Tomiko. You know her, she's in the magazines. And I'm like, oh, and I think I might have been intimidated by it. It's like, what? Oh, like that? You know what I mean? And got over it, of course, at some point. But,
yes, because I'm a fool. That's why you realize quickly that I'm a fool, and there's nothing to be intimidated by me.
Exactly. I had to meet you to find that out.
Yes, yes.
and open, welcoming arms for women in all walks of life.
Yeah.
And so then how did you transition, well, not transition, but how did you open up to creating the Goddess Gathering?
Yeah, that's
because I'm mentioning it as if everybody who may be watching may not know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll tell them. So the Goddess Gathering, or Tomiko's Goddess Gathering, it's changed names a couple of times over the years, but the Goddess Gathering is a women's empowerment and support group that I started back in 2004 out of my home because of a need for connection with women. I had moved out here in 2001, and I was acting and doing commercials and things like that. And in class, right before moving out here, I remember there's a game, it was called Go Goddess, and it had candles and questions. And right before moving out here, I think Angie and Sandy and I played it. And I remember we had wine and we were laughing and crying. And I came out here with that game. And I remember inviting a few of the girls from my acting class to come and play it as a way to kind of get to know people and make connection. Because I was out here, other than Angie, one of my best friends, I didn't know anybody out here. So and my whole family's back in New York, and I was by myself and with my cats. It was just crazy. But I invited the women to come and play that game, and I saw what an impact it had. And then the idea, like inspiration, just sparked. And I said, okay, well, let's come back next month, and I'll make up a topic, and we'll play games or we'll talk. And they kept coming back and bringing their friends, and then we had to start renting out places to have the gathering. And it's just been a great thing that, again, like my modeling career, has gone away and come back over the years, but it's something that sticks with me because my passion for women realizing, owning, expressing their true self, their authenticity, their beauty, both inner and outer. It's like I literally can lay awake at night with joy because I have experienced a woman finally going, oh, I get it. This is what I can do. This is who I am. So yes, so the Goddess Gathering is one of my babies. It's just, we'll get back to that again later too, but we're back again. We're back again doing it.
Yeah, I'm fortunate because when I came out here, it was in like its heyday.
Mm-hmm.
That was that time. There were the OGs of the original group, and then
you are an OG, Tiwana.
I am an OG, but then there's a bunch of people that even preceded me. But yeah. I came at the most serendipitous time because that was when I moved here to LA and had one friend and was just trying to figure out how to navigate this business, but also. Because I had left New York without having a full-time job. I was working part-time and, booking commercials, not union commercial at that time. So now I was coming here to start all over again and was working a full-time job. And so being around that many, I remember my first day, I said, so I just quit my job. I just quit working 40 hours. I'm only going to be working weekends, and how do I do this? And I think it was like 5 people like, girl, quit that job. Yo, yeah, I did that. It was just a circle that was like, oh, okay, great. These are people in this group that have done this years ago and have been living as their creative selves and all the different genres and mediums or whatever for many, many years. So it was a really great transition for me to be immersed in this group with these people of all love, and we would talk about all kinds of things, joy to sadness, divorce, grief, breakups, all types of things, and work through it. So it was a really pivotal part of my immersion into LA, but also helping me to discern what type of people I want in my life.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, Tiwana, because that brings me so much joy. I think people forget, because I've been doing it for so long, that it's just, it doesn't matter to her if it affects me or not. And I'm not saying that I want to know how it affects the women, especially when it affects them as positively as it seems to have affected you, because then I'm like, yay, I'm here. I like to use the term, I'm on purpose. I'm living on purpose. I feel like my purpose here is to do what I'm doing. So when it resonates the way that it does with so many women over the years, I just am full of just joy and love and proud, and a proud mama for all the ladies that have like, I call it, they pop. They're like, here I am. And then watch out when they get here, because woo, I used to say, if you want your wife, mother, sister, daughter, friend to remain small and think she can't do anything, don't send her around me. Don't send her around me. That's not how it's gonna be when she's around me and my goddess sisters.
Yeah, an empowered group of women.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember there was one point I had written in my journal something that I wanted to be like Oprah in the sense of creating things and helping people and blah, blah, whatever. And then there was a moment, I don't remember what meeting it was, but I was like, oh, you just do it. You don't wait until you get there. You just do it now. So I remember that realization.
So many women over the years, I like, they proclaim their business at a gathering. They proclaim their divorce. They proclaim, myself in particular, pregnancy. You know what I mean? Just everything to be immersed in that creative, loving, energetic field of empowered women that see with you and for you, even if you can't see it yet for yourself. There's something so creative about that. So I'm very, very grateful to the goddesses and the Goddess Gathering for all these years, and for having met you. And it's just, keeps going on.
Absolutely. So here we are well, let's talk about your other, because you have a lot of creative outlets. Yes. You're a model. Yes, you are a facilitator of empowerment, a coach. And then what else would you say is probably your most prominent?
Wow.
Right.
So I love to write. I was going to say, writing has always been something that I love, even as a child. I just loved reading. I loved words. I ended up marrying a poet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chris is the poet. He, that's his passion. It literally is, it's an out of body experience for me when I write. The words start dancing around in my head, and then they want to form, and then it just comes out. Like, all the writing that I do is inspired writing. And I just found that to be a creative outlet. It's not necessarily the way that I'm making my money, but it is a very deep-rooted source of joy and expression for me. I am a mother. I am a wife. I mean, there's so many things. What else am I doing? I do on-air hosting and facilitating groups. Anything that has to do with creativity and connection and empowering women, I'm all about it. So yes, I wear many hats. I'm probably forgetting some important title right now, but it's in my profile on Instagram in case I forgot one of the titles. But no, modeling, acting, and the Goddess Gathering, and obviously my family are my main gigs these days.
Yeah, and then it just occurred to me also, spokesperson. You've been spokesperson for a couple things.
Yes, I was an ambassador or a spokesperson for the Lupus Foundation of America, for Resolve, which is a infertility organization, a family building organization. I worked with them for many years. Anywhere that I can lend my voice that connects with me and that I can help bring hopefully like a solution or solace to people, whether it be through lupus or whether it be through their infertility and family building journey, those are very close to me. At one point, I was having the Goddess Gatherings at, say, from 1 to 3, and then I was a volunteer chairperson of an infertility support group. So my last Saturdays of the month were pretty busy with loving and empowering women going through different journeys in their life. And some of the women would kind of come to both because they were dealing with things in both. So I'm a girl's girl. So I like to help the ladies out.
Can you pinpoint a time or the moment where you realize that your mission is this?
Wow, that's a great question, Tiwana. I think it was a question that I asked at a gathering. Then I had the realization, because people always ask about, what is your purpose? What is my purpose? What am I here for? And I came up with this way, or maybe I read it somewhere, where it is, what would you do for the rest of your life if you never got paid a cent to do it? What would you be happy doing for the rest of your life if you never got paid a cent for it? And I had thought about it. I'm like, this. this must be my purpose. This must be what I'm here to do, because there have been many a times to this day that I'm not getting paid for it, but that doesn't make me less passionate about it, less connected to the work. So I would say I realized that this was my purpose probably 4 years into leading the gathering. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because I realized that if I never got paid a cent, I would still be doing it wholeheartedly. So probably been about 15 years, maybe 10 years that I've known it was my purpose.
And then a follow-up question is, what do you think allows you to heed the call?
Ooh.
This is just coming to me because
I know, because I'm getting the goosebumps. So here's the thing. I know what it's like to be without direction. I know what it's like to feel lost and afraid and uncertain and scared and like over it. I know those things very well. And I found ways to overcome all of that and be in my life energetically and purposefully and authentically. And so I just started to take classes and read books and talk to women that were, in my opinion, out picturing in a way that was really tantalizing to me. Like, I wanted to know how you do that. Like, again, goosebumps. How do you walk that way? How do you speak that way? Where did you get that confidence from? I was very, very curious about women like that. And I think in all of my amassing of the knowledge, I wanted to use myself as an example of the ability to overcome whatever life throws your way. And that's why it just pours from me easily. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's just they just talk to me. I'm like, well, and I'm not trying to be flippant or like I know it all. I also have discovered the ability that I'm intuitive.
Yeah.
And that I get messages, I call them hits. Mm-hmm. And that happened 8 years ago on April 6th. And I remember that because I was out to dinner with some friends, and one of my girlfriends was there with this guy she was dating casually. And I started getting these messages about him. And I just met him that night. And I said, well, I have some things to tell you if it's okay. And for 2 hours, I told this man all about his life. And he looked at me like, and I was like this, I don't know how I know. And so that is a gift that I have as well. So I think just kind of landing and taking up home in my purpose, like, has made it just keep coming even more in different ways. And it's here, it's mine.
Right. And then the more that you step into it, the easier it is.
Yeah, to the point where I'll be on the elevator and I get a hit, and my husband's like, baby, you don't have to tell everybody. I'm like, well, I gotta at least ask, because I feel like, I'm like, baby, I gotta tell her something. He goes, no, baby, you don't do that, you're gonna be weird. I'm like, I'm not being weird, I'll say something nice. I'm like, excuse me, and I'll find a way to say it. And 8 times out of 10, they're receptive of it. Sometimes they're like, okay, thank you, and they run off the elevator. But most times they're, they wanna, because I say, nobody's dying, nobody's sick, nobody's hurt. I have something for you that is a message that might be a blind spot that you don't even know about, or I'm feeling something about you that I want to share that I think will help you. And and they're like, really? And then when I tell them, like, everything is, they always say this, it's funny you should say that, because, and I go, see, I don't know how I know, I just know.
It is what it is. So now that we're in quarantine, what are you doing to stay creative, if you are at all? Because the energy has been such a roller coaster ride for all of us.
Well, my creativity is my medicine, is my saving grace, my own expression of creativity, and my seeking it out to feed myself. So yes, creativity is absolutely a part of how I'm handling this quarantine as best as I can. I mean, it's crazy, but dancing, music. I watch. I'm watching just different things on Netflix. Like, did you tell me about this woman, Michaela Cole?
Yes, I did.
You see my haircut? You see what you did?
Oh, get out of here! Are you serious?
That is the truth.
Michaela Cole.
Yes, And I never even knew that I wanted to be getting off topic, but we'll get back to the hair later. But I am finding ways to stay creative because that's what is my sanity. That helps me stay sane. But I'm also doing, and I don't know if part of your question was like movements or things that I'm like, you know, podcasts, things like that. I don't know. Girl Trek, which I've been posting about every day. They are doing their second 21-day Black History Boot Camp. And it gets me out of the house because exercise is also a way for me to stay sane through this quarantine. So they do a 30-minute podcast where they teach you about some historical figure in Black history, whether they are present or past. And I just walk and listen and sweat and get inspired and come home and write and create. So it's exercise, music, and art are the way that I'm staying sane. Yeah.
And Girl Trek, is it Instagram?
Yes, it's GIRLTREK. It's I did it back in June where they highlighted 21 women, and then this month they're doing resistance leaders. So today was about Marcus Garvey, and it's Marcus Garvey Day in Jamaica. I'm learning so much today, and I'm just, you know, I'm multitasking because I don't know as much about Black history that I'd like to know. Yeah. So I'm getting that in, I'm getting my exercise in, and it's inspiring me. Yeah. So it's a win all around.
Yeah, that's good. Full rounded.
Listen, when I love something, I scream it from the rooftop. So Girl Trek is doing it.
I will check it out. I'm in the link as well.
Yes.
And yeah, because normally we're so busy. And you're still active and busy because you have twins. You have twin boys. Yes. How old are they now? 6?
No, girl, they're 7.5 going on 27. Yes, they are, I have fraternal twin sons who I can't believe haven't knocked on the door yet. Bryce and Kaden. For those of your viewers and listeners out there that are feeling a little older and haven't had their children yet and want to have children, I had my boys when I was 44 after almost 7 years of dealing with infertility. And I speak very candidly about that because there's still, unfortunately, a stigma and a shame about infertility, especially in our community. So I'm all about breaking down all those things. I don't do shame. I don't do guilt. I don't do any of that. So I speak about it. And we used, and they don't know this yet, but we used an anonymous egg donor. Probably, I don't know. Anyway, I've said it publicly before, but the boys have yet to be told. But we will tell them for sure. Yeah. So there's ways to build your family if you choose to have one, and you feel like you're past your childbearing years, or you're like my condition. I had premature ovarian failure where I couldn't conceive on my own. Right. So I kind of sidetracked there, but that's important for, I think, Black women especially to know that there's options out there for you should you choose them.
Exactly. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to go that route, but you know, I before each call, I'm just like, just let me be the vessel, let them be the vessel, and whoever this call is gonna get what they need to get.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Can I fangirl on you for a minute? Just for a little minute. You are so inspiring to me. I just see everything you're doing. You've been so beautifully meticulous in how you have crafted your craft, your career. And I'm always so inspired by how you do what you're doing. So thank you so much for being one of the sparks that have lit me up over the years and continue to light me up, because you're just, you know how I feel about you. We were going to do a skit together at one time. I don't know.
We still are. It's not, that's not going to go away.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm excited.
We don't get to it today because it's a great idea. And as you were saying that, it just occurred to me, because this came through my meditation, Creative Quarantine came through my meditation. The person who introduced me to my meditation teacher was Tamara Watley, who I met in the Goddess Gathering. You know what I mean? So
there's so many, listen, there's so many degrees. Like, I literally sit back and smile because there's so many pockets of friendships that have formed over the years from the Goddess Gathering. I used to be like, well, why aren't they calling me to hang out? But I can't hang out with all 75 of y'all. So I'm so glad that y'all have found each other, and the connections are so wonderful. I mean, you and Crystal are just, you know, I don't know if you met through the guys gathering or before that, but
yeah, I brought her to the gathering. Yeah,
you brought Crystal to the gathering. See, look at that. Look, listen, it's so good. I just love all the friendships and like they're 10, 15 years going strong. Some of these women.
Yeah. And it's nice to show up at an audition, especially when I was new and still nervous of just about even auditioning. But it would be nice to show up at an audition and see somebody like Jonelle Kennedy.
Yes, Jonelle.
And be like, hey, girl, and bring me into the fold, you know. So it's been just so wonderful to be a part of all this.
It's such a great sisterhood. I'm really, 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 really proud of it.
So as we're nearing the end, because you've got
Really?
You got
oh wow!
No, it goes really fast.
Yes.
Really fast. You have lots of things to talk about. Any new projects coming up? You mentioned that the Goddess Gathering is coming back.
Yes.
But
let me look at my notes because I'm 52. I look 25, but my brain sometimes can't remember everything.
You're right.
So I took notes. What I have going on right now? Yes, my website. The Goddess Life with Tomiko is a goddess lifestyle brand, meaning it's a women's empowerment brand. So we launched that a couple months ago. I have a wonderful team that's helping me, and that's been a huge part of why it's going as well as it is, because for many years I was doing it on my own. I do not recommend that. If you can get help, ask for help. Sometimes people will just do it because they love you, which is what my girls are doing. So there's a website, The Goddess Life with Tomiko. I am also doing empowerment coaching and intuitive guidance classes and sessions, and that's also on the website. That's called Empowered Living with Tomiko. And then the Goddess Gathering, we're having them virtually now, obviously because of COVID. And we have one coming up this weekend. I'm not sure if this will be out before then, but please check the website because they're every other month, the last Saturday of the month from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we come up with these great topics, and we talk and we answer questions, and you get homework to help you learn how to walk in your empowered shoes. And you always have support there. What else do I have going on? Let me look at my notes again. I'm trying to remember everything. Yeah, that was it. That was it. And taking care of my husband and my children. But no, the Goddess Gathering and the Goddess Life with Tomiko is what I'm doing right now. I'm still modeling. I have a great spread coming out for this online magazine. I didn't write that down. Called Neoque, Neoque, and it's a fashion magazine for women over 40. And it'll be my first spread with my bald head. The pictures are ridiculous. I was feeling myself that day with my newly shaved head. And you know, once the world gets back to a place where I can travel and feel comfortable traveling, I'm still modeling. I did something with Chico's where I self-shot. I did my own photo shoot, and that's something that's on their page right now. So I'm staying busy and creating and just welcoming, you know, energetically what's to be for me as far as my work is concerned.
I love it.
And that's it.
All those links are going to be attached to this video.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity to share all this. I'm in such a good space in my life right now. And I want to speak to that really quickly for your people that are watching. Be gentle with yourself as you navigate life. Things will come your way that will knock you down. But if you have the ability to shore up your foundation, whether that be through meditation, prayer, friends, family, find ways to strengthen yourself so that way you might get stopped, but you don't get knocked down. And you can self-talk your way through just about anything. But the most important, I feel, is to be gentle with yourself and talk to yourself as if you were 5 years old. So no matter what you're going through, how would you advise and nurture 5-year-old you? You wouldn't curse yourself out. You wouldn't tell yourself you're this and that. You would say, you know what, sweetie, it's okay. You did the best you could do. And we're going to just keep trying, and we're going to do better tomorrow. And just be gentle, and self-love is the most important thing that's going to get you through all of this.
Right. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. I done lulled you. You look all lulled.
Yeah. I like the part about, talk to yourself as if you're 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I even tell women to keep a picture. It used to be keep a picture in your wallet, and now we can put it on our phone. A picture of yourself as a little girl on your phone, so that when you're feeling down, when you're beating yourself up about whatever, relationship, weight, job, whatever, look at the picture of you and talk to her. Yeah. And guide her and tell her that she's okay and you got her back and we're going to do this together. And it's such a great practice of self-love. It's just, you're loving yourself through all of it. So that's how I say I'm getting through this quarantine as well, is through self-love, practicing it every day. Oh, yes.
I love it.
Yay.
Thank you, Miss T.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
TF to TF.
Yes, that's right. We got too much in common. Don't let me start busting out some dance moves, Tiwana.
Okay.
That what was it? What was it? Pass the mic.
Oh my gosh.
You took me out. I was screaming at the phone. You better do it. You better do it. I was screaming at the phone at you.
I was sitting here like so hyped.
Yes.
And then the idea was like, really, you're gonna do that? It's like, don't just do it. Just get up and do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's so good.
And let me know when you want another head wrap tutorial, because I got some more for you.
Okay.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you, Tomiko Fraser Hines.
Thank you for watching Creatives in Quarantine. By now, you know just how passionate Tomiko Fraser Hines is about women's empowerment. Follow her at thegoddesslifewithtomiko.com and subscribe. Follow me too. See you next time. Bye.